connection is everything in the world of transformation. Now, can you do it on your own? Yeah, but there's
so much harder.
It's like existing on your own.
It's not that much fun.
We are social beings, and we need that connection. I mean, it's innate. It's inside all of us. We need that connection for survival. We need it for emotional health. We need it for everything. There's people out there that actually have, a support system. It's really not a support system at all.
Welcome back to the School of Greatness podcast. We have Chris and Heidi Powell. Good to see you guys.
Good
High
to
five
see
for
you
both
too.
of you.
Oh,
Good to see
that was a weak high five. There we go.
I'm so glad we got to connect. We were just talking about all the people we have in common, all the friends we have in common. I'm sure there's probably 100 more.
Right.
Small world.
It's a very small world. And you guys are unbelievable inspiration to so many people around the world from your show, Extreme Weight Loss, which was a massive hit for, 5 or 6 seasons, is that right?
Yeah,
5.5 seasons.
5.5 seasons.
But it's I'm going to jump in here real quick. It's still a hit.
It's still going on
around
right?
the world.
Syndicated.
Yes.
It's still going on.
It's so crazy. It got sold worldwide. It's in like
Wow.
148 countries around the world now. So
Amazing.
it's like mind blowing that it's spread. Yes.
It's amazing. And who came up with the idea? Did one of you come up with it, or was there a talent agent who came up with it and said, you guys should do this? Or
So long story short, which means get
Long
comfortable.
story.
Yeah. long story long.
Long story's never short.
Yeah. So I started doing my first massive transformation was actually back in 2003, and ended up
for
helping
yourself or for someone
It was
else?
for somebody else actually, and I helped this one gentleman lose 400 pounds in 2 years.
Wow.
And through the process, he became my best friend, and we ended up living together for a couple years after that. He ended up posting his before and after pics on MySpace. I just dated myself here.
2003.
Yes.
Before Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, this is long before. We didn't even know what Facebook was.
I think it was 2004 when Facebook came out. Somewhere around there.
So he ended up posting his pics on MySpace in about 2006, 2007, and it went viral. And sure enough, overnight, we were getting contacted by 2020 and Oprah and The View. And so it was just like, I'm a trainer in Phoenix, Arizona, and I helped this guy through this incredible journey. And sure enough, it just went like wildfire. So it was from then. A friend of mine who is actually she's part of a production company here in Los Angeles that ended up having a show that was starting to be a hit called The Biggest Loser.
Sure.
And she was the casting producer for it. She's like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, I saw what you did with your best friend David. It's incredible. I was like, well, awesome. We're going to be doing some more transformations here in Phoenix. Do you guys want to shoot it? She goes, hold on, let me talk to my boss. An hour later, I get an email from the boss, and he's like, hey, can you come out to LA? Well, so I talked to my girlfriend at the time, and I was just like, hey, you want to go to LA? They want to talk to us. And I was like, okay, well, let's do this. So we couldn't afford a flight, so we got in the car. We ended up driving out here, sat in front of a whiteboard.
I acted like his assistant because they knew
Yes.
who Chris was, but I'm like,
She was,
Right.
even though I was like the business mind, I'm like, I'll just act like I'm taking notes
Right,
for you, and I'll
right,
tell
right.
you if this is a good deal or a
That's funny.
bad deal.
she was my girlfriend, but we just pretended that she was my assistant. So we get out there and we sit in front of a whiteboard, and we just mapped out the journey of transformation. And
Wow.
yeah, they're like, well, we need to map, like, how do you do what you do? Because we got the show that's a hit on NBC, and people are loving this weight loss thing. And I said, well, I've been doing weight loss for years now. Like, this is amazing, and it's fulfilling, and it's life-changing. And if we're going to map the journey, we need time. Like, we don't want to do a competition. We really want to capture what it's like emotionally because there's so much more to it. And they're like, nah, they don't want to watch that. And I was like, no, really. Like, there's so much to that part because that's really what it's like. And then they're like, well, can you do it in 3 months? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. We need a year. Like, the network will never go for that. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you guys, but we need a year to do what we do.
Yeah.
And they
For
said,
extreme weight loss.
For extreme weight,
Unless you're doing
exactly.
liposuction, right?
To have something
Exactly,
that has
yeah.
like a big impactful change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes
And
a
I
while.
remember actually in the meeting, they were like, gosh, I think the most the network will ever go for is 6 months. And that's
Yeah.
pushing
They
it.
won't
So
budge
it was,
past
yeah.
that. And we said, I don't know what to do, guys, but if we're going to do this right and we're going to map this thing out. So we mapped out a year of transformation. They're like, we'll see if we can sell it. Oh, we'll see what we can do. Sure. And we didn't hear anything for 3 months?
Yeah.
2 months, 3
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, it was
And-
June that we went out, and October is when we got a call.
Wow.
Random phone call. I'm in the kitchen. You're sitting at the desk. We had like a desk in the middle of our kitchen because like we cleared the whole thing out because we were just hustling at the time. And so get a phone call, and it's the CEO of the production company. He's like, and he's really dramatic. He's like amazing with timing. And he's just like, dude. And it's like this long drawn out beat. And I'm like, hello? Hey, what's going on? He's like, we sold your show. Just like in a voice like that.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. Because, as we were creating the show, we were consultants on the development of a show, which we were just thrilled to do. I mean, we were helping them build the show, and they were going to put like a celebrity trainer on the show. And like, as we built it out, like we built it out for that. And, I mean, even though we would have loved to,
of course,
like secretly we're like, oh gosh, I wish I could do this, but we built it for them. And, he's like, dude, we sold the show. I was like, awesome. Congratulations. Go team. He's like, no, dude, you don't get it. We sold the show. And I was like, no, I heard you. Congratulations. I was like, it'll look great on the resume.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, dude, we sold the show to ABC. And I was like, oh my gosh, a network, you sold the show. This is fantastic. And so then again, long drawn out pause. And I'm like, wait, who's the guy? So who's going to host it? And he's like, wait, pause. You are. I was like, and I look at him, I'm like, so what does this mean?
You're right.
He goes, well, it means pack your bags. You're leaving in 5 weeks. Wow. And then it was just a 5-year run from there. I mean, 365 days a year, 5 years in a row. Wow. Yeah. And
did you have kids at the time?
So I actually had 2 kids from a previous marriage.
Got
we were not yet married. We ended up getting married about, our plan was to never get married. We were just going to be life partners.
We were going to be life partners.
Yeah.
Didn't work. We ended up getting married.
It sounded really cool at the time.
But, you know, he really wanted a baby, and the way that my other 2 kids had been raised, I decided it was probably best that we get married so we don't have too much explaining to do or whatever. We ended up getting married and pregnant like within the next year. So the first year of the show.
Wow.
So the traveling began.
And you traveled
December.
with them? Were you on the show originally as well, casted?
No, I was not cast originally. What happened? So we're both trainers. I was a trainer from the time I was 18 years old, just had a fit kind of lifestyle. And he's the one who got me back into it when I met him a couple years prior. But when he started traveling for the show, we had only worked with 1, maybe 2 of these super obese clients at a time. All of a sudden on the show, Chris has 8 people that he's working with at a time for the first 6 months. Now, let me say this. 6 months into season 1, ABC was so excited about the results that they ended up picking up a season 2. So we started season 2
in the middle.
In the middle, added on 8 more. Was season 2 8 more people? So we had 16 at once. And then every year thereafter, our cast was no smaller than 16 people per year, 16 to 20. Wow. So right off the bat, within the first week, Chris is like, he'd phone home and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't even know how to handle it. So I was right off the bat, just his kind of life coach. I would say, Kate, you can only control so much.
One day at a time.
No, it was 100%.
Exactly.
And that's our approach at the time was a lot more diet and exercise related. And as we got into it and we had all of these people in one place at one time, we realized, as Chris would kind of phone home, and we realized the behaviors that they exhibited were so similar to that of a drug addict. Like they were just a food addict. And it all stemmed from something that went so much deeper than that they loved food. I had a decade-long eating disorder. And then I have family members that kind of delved into a couple that spent some time in rehabilitation clinics, which was such a blessing for me and for Chris because he got to be there for a lot of it. And we learned things, not really seeing how much it connected, but as he would phone home with all these issues, I'm like, Chris, oh my gosh, okay, wait, what about this is so similar to this. Let's go ahead and talk to him about that. So we would slowly incorporate the things that were drug rehabilitation related. And our whole methodology kind of shifted and it made it easier. So Chris would travel on the road, and then he would work with half of the people. They'd end up sending half back to Arizona where I was because he couldn't handle all 8 at a time. Yeah. So I ended up running a boot camp. I got pregnant in the meantime, had a couple kids, like no rest, like literally.
So they were staying at home half the time when they're at your guys' boot camp facility or wherever.
We actually would keep 4 to 6 at any given time throughout any season, 4 to 6.
Any that were struggling.
Yeah.
We'd send them to Arizona. They could spend time with Heidi. and she could work with them there. Then I'd be on the road with the other 4 to 6.
Spinning plates, we call
or
it.
10 to 12. Yeah, we call
But,
it spinning
yeah,
plates.
they
They had to move then essentially for 6 months or something.
If they were struggling,
Yeah.
they would come there for a month, 2
Yeah,
months, sometimes 3.
And
yeah.
some
and
of
then
them
we'd
it would
send
just
back
be
home.
some it would just be
Kind of like a halfway house.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for some it was just maybe a week where they just spent time and they needed some kind of like
Yeah.
Like a reset.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
And I think one of the it made such a difference, and Chris and I realized this right off the bat, for people to come to our home. They did not trust Chris right off the bat. No one did. They all thought he was just a celebrity, and he's only there for camera time.
Right.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to say, "Hey, go stay with my wife and my kids," and obviously he vetted them first. They had background
Right.
checks.
They stay in your home?
Yes, off the bat, they stayed in my home. Now I was kind of off the record with.
Right.
Yeah,
Now-
hold on.
Well, but it's the fact of
Now
the
that it's
matter.
after the fact, we can totally say that. Yes.
Yeah, and it was more us inviting because we knew that they
wanted to
needed
build that
person.
relationship and the trust. And,
That was it.
Built such a huge
Yeah.
amount of trust between a lot of the girls that had a hard time trusting Chris right
Oh,
off the
of
bat
course.
loved him after because they're
Yeah.
like, I know his family, I know his kids. I was pregnant at the time. Half of them went to the hospital with me when I
Wow.
had my babies.
And they get to know us without cameras.
Yes.
Because the thing is, we surprise them. There's cameras there. Every time I'll show up, there's cameras. And then the moment the cameras go away, that's when the magic happens. And that's when we can build a relationship.
Yeah.
Because helping someone through a journey of transformation, I mean, we've got them for a full year. And so and trust is everything.
It's huge.
And at first, when, because we were new to production, so we didn't know how the whole thing worked.
Right.
And so, and so we immediately, we didn't have that. And then we realized the more vulnerable we were, because, you come in there and you're like, I'm the trainer, you're the
I'm the
client.
expert.
Yep, I'm
And
going to be
there's
a pro.
no
You're gonna learn
relatability
from me.
off
No.
the bat. They're like, you don't know what I'm going through.
No.
Right.
You've never been overweight,
And
so
then
it's-
the more we opened up about ourselves and our own struggles and how we got to where we are now, and it turned more into, guys, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We're all going through this crazy journey of life, and we're all human. Let's work together and let's get. You help me get where I want to go. I'm going to help you get where you want to go, and let's all and we can develop these amazing friendships in the process. And we did.
Crazy.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you guys
Such a
meet
blessing.
originally?
We actually met.
MySpace?
we
No,
opposite
Tinder.
of. No, I've actually never downloaded the Tinder app. Let's just get that.
neither have I, for the record. Happily married. Thank
I
you.
think that came about after we were married
It did.
anyway. I
It
don't
did.
know.
Yes.
But all the
Yes.
production guys had Tinder. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that. We actually met, believe it or not. So right after I was divorced, had 2 kids, kind of had been through a pretty rough patch.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, do I filter this? Do I not?
No, let
it go.
Let's
Let it go.
It's Lewis.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on. Let-
I'll just say
Let him
this.
have it.
I definitely went through a rough patch after my
What does
first
that
marriage.
mean?
Well, I was raised, gosh, I'm a long story short. Here we go again.
Break out the tissues. Here we go.
I was raised in a very religious community and family, and I think in a way, and I speak for myself, no one else, because I'm sure everyone has a different experience, but I was definitely sheltered quite a bit. Didn't really know what the real world was. Got married really young. Married at 19. Well, I guess I met him when I was 19. I think we were married when I was like 20 or something. But it was just I had never really I'd never been given the opportunity to fall on my face. I had a dad that cared so much about me, so much so.
Sheltered, just
Like I
safe.
spent my days grounded over nothing, but he wanted to keep me, like he just wanted me at home. So the
Sure.
world didn't get to me.
Wow.
And so life was a little bit of a shock after marriage. And then, when the marriage didn't work out, I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have this thing called freedom and agency, and I can do what I want. Oh my
What does
goodness.
that mean? Do what you want. Lewis and I would like to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I had never touched even alcohol up to that point in my life. And so it was just there was this period of time where I kind of experienced people
Had fun.
and
Yeah, you experienced life.
beverages.
Yeah, of course. No judgment here.
No, hey, yeah.
But I think it was only about 3 months long, but it was a jam-packed 3
Sure,
months. I will say that.
You're all in.
Yeah, I was all in. And I think there was a little bit of a huge guilt factor associated with it because I had 2 little kids at the time. And it was like
This
when they
is
would,
after the divorce or after?
this was after the divorce.
Got it, got it.
So when the kids would go to their dads, I would kind of,
Have your fun
have a
time.
little bit of fun. And then, yeah. And
How long were you? When did you get divorced? How old were you?
25.
So it was about
or
a 4 or 5 year
26-ish.
Marriage.
Yep, it was good math. Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
I think
20 to 25.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It was 5 years by the time the divorce was final.
Sure.
So anyway, I ended up, and I also found myself, I naturally am a people pleaser, big time, which is a huge pro and it's a huge con at the same time. And I found myself in a lot of situations where I didn't want to make people feel poorly about themselves. And so I would naturally just be in a situation where deep down I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this. I feel bad. This person's really nice. I don't want to make him feel bad about himself. And so I realized, hey, it was just time for me to make a change. I actually went and saw a therapist, and the therapist was like, I can help you, but you would get a lot more help in a shorter period of time if you did this self-improvement course first. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll do whatever at this point. I want to be able to tell people no. I want to be able to control my own life, and I didn't know how to do it because anytime I hurt, if I hurt your feelings, it was a reflection of who I was in my mind.
Okay, I'll do whatever you want.
Yes, 100%.
You took this course.
Yeah, took the course. I went on a little lunch break one day, and I had no makeup, sweats, like a hat on, like I was not there for a man because I was I had been manned out.
Sending the signal. Don't talk to me.
Yes, that signal. And I picked up my lunch out of the cooler because I packed my own lunch. I'm a fitness girl, and this guy from behind me was like, I want to know what you do to get those biceps.
I didn't pick up on the signal.
I had another one of these guys. And I turned around.
Show him your biceps, and you'll see why.
Yeah.
It was a legitimate. I was genuine.
You were like, dang.
Yes, I was
doing?
genuinely asking. I was like,
no, my girlfriend's got a jacked biceps.
yes,
too, so
right?
Do that again?
Yeah, exactly. So
No, I was flexing for the camera right there. But yeah, and I remember turning around and seeing Chris, and I was like, oh gosh, like it's a gym rat.
Right,
this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk to this. So I spent the next day and a half avoiding it a little, or avoiding not it, him.
Both.
I'll take it.
But he was really, it was endearing because I remember you standing up in front of the mic at one point. I didn't know why you were there, what brought you there at that point. And you were so nervous up there, which you've never been nervous in front of a microphone. But then I was like, oh, is he nervous because I'm here? Because he had brought me a couple gifts every day. He'd show up with a gift. But he was just so nice. So it was actually the final night. I ended up giving him a ride back to his car, and we sat in my car for a while and talked. And right off the bat, he's like, look, I don't want a relationship. I'm like, good, neither do I. I'm a single mom of 2. But we just hit it off, best friends. We were Chris had just moved out of his car. He had struggled with a handful of things himself and landed back on his feet. Kind of. He was getting back on his feet
in
at the
Phoenix,
time.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I lived out of my car for like 6 months. I lost everything.
No way.
Yeah.
He was like
this is
$200,000 in debt.
Just 9 years ago, I was living out of my car. And it's
How'd you lose it all?
Yeah.
so
Were you a fitness trainer before this?
I was. And in fact, I had already had all the success from helping my friend David lose all the weight. So I had been on Oprah and Today's Show
Really?
in 2020. Yes.
Before you guys met?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I
so
had no idea
all that
who he was.
happened in
Right.
2006 and 2007 was when everything took off as far as like me being like the fitness guy, the transformation specialist.
The guy.
Yeah, the guy. Like, and I was the go-to guy in Arizona, and I was helping all these people lose weight. And I had this grandiose dream. Like, so I
Open a gym?
well, yeah,
No.
Put all your money in this?
You've heard that story before. No, mine was I invented a nutrition system actually, and it was called Stacks. And I got a provisional patent on it, and I tooled a factory in China, and I ran 12,000 of them, and I borrowed a couple $100,000 to make this product, and they shipped it over, and it was junk, and it was, but the concept was brilliant.
Yeah.
But the concept of it was brilliant. I mean, this is 2005, and like I'm passionate about helping people change their lives. And nutrition was such a complex thing for so many people to get. But the concept is it's still really like amazing. It's a cooler system.
It has since been knocked off a couple times. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's been knocked off twice.
Just in case he
man.
knows
Yeah.
any of the
So
owners of the
so
other
rewind to
company that's not.
2005, and I'll let you guys do the math here because you're gonna know, and you'll recognize. You'll be like, dude, that sounds just like. I presented it to them too. By the
wow.
way. So anyway, it's a cooler system, and it's got portion control containers that are color coded. So there's like pink for protein, yellow for carbs,
sure.
green for veggies, and it's got marked and dish on the side. Just fill it up based on your weight.
Yeah,
and and they
smart.
stack inside of it. It's called stacks
It's
for your
like in a
breakfast, snack,
backpack.
lunch, snack, dinner.
Like in a
Yep,
backpack.
exactly. And there's
Yeah.
a timer that goes off every 3 hours when it's time for your next
smart.
meal. Timer goes off, you pull it. So the concept was there, and I had 12,000 of these things that I ran,
No
but I just
way.
got But the thing is, like when you run it, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know quality control. I'm a trainer
so
with
they
this.
didn't- It wasn't work. I mean, the
No.
product wasn't quality, is what
So-
you're saying.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
They messed it up, or it was
Yes.
like janky.
It was all janky, and it just wasn't what I had ordered. And the factory went, well, you
Sorry.
you owe us $250,000 now. And I went, I don't have it. And now I have to turn around and try to sell a product that I can't sell because it's not sellable.
Oh man.
I went belly up. I lost everything. And
We ended up over time salvaging those units. We did when I came because Chris is a dreamer.
Yeah.
Like they say, you got to have a dreamer and you got to have a doer. And
Yeah.
we really are. We are so opposite in that way. Such a dreamer has taught me how to dream a little. Such a doer, and we
Yeah.
kind of rub off on each other.
Yeah,
But when I met him, he was like, "I have all this stuff. I don't know what to do with it." So
I'm in
we
$250,000.
Oh
we
my God.
salvaged.
And
Yeah.
and I was literally driving around and sleeping on friends' couches because I lost
Is that,
everything.
is that when you met Dean? You slept on his couch
I,
then?
as a matter of fact, Dean,
No
so
way.
Dean Graziosi, he knew me back then, and I remember sleeping on his couch a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah, he took me up to Vegas with them, and it was nice just to be able to like just escape from my reality because like life was not good. It was. I look back and what a blessing, but oh my gosh, it was just it was a big struggle then. And actually I ended up, the guy David, who's my best friend at the time, his family opened up their doors to me and they let me sleep on their couch for 3 months while I got back on my feet.
The guy you helped transform?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So his whole family opened up their doors to me and
Amazing.
opened up their arms and they said, just come live with us, your family. And so they helped me out, and I lived there for 3 of the 6 months, and slowly got back on my feet. And then a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I went to this, this seminar. Really helped turn
Yeah.
my perspective around. You got to check it out."
Yeah. Emotional intelligence seminar?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, and sure enough, I was like, I just put it off for a while. Then I was
Yeah.
like, I'll just go, and I went, and I met her,
Wow.
and
Transform your life.
it really did, and
yeah.
in so many ways. But and at the time, like we were both of us, it was great because we were like, no, I'm not interested in a relationship. In our very first conversation, I think the first words out of my mouth after talking about her biceps was, "I'm broke. I'm completely broke. I have nothing, but I've got really big dreams. I'm gonna help transform the world."
And I loved it. Like his car, the window didn't roll up all the way, the door didn't shut. Like within a month of me hanging out with him, I was helping him get it repossessed because the creditors were after him. I mean,
Wow.
I loved how authentic and honest he was. Whereas
Yeah.
I had only been around people that were trying to present themselves as something that they weren't. And
course.
I can see through it
course.
so quickly. So I loved, and he's like, "Come over to my house," and I go over and he had like a blow up mattress and 2 chairs. And that was like it in the whole house.
Bachelor life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I
100%.
got those chairs out of the dumpster in the back.
Sure. Wow.
I just thought, and he didn't care. Like he wore like the same tennis shoes every single day, but worked so hard and had like, his dreaming ability is just insane. And I remember listening. He's like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." And I'm like, "Wow, you!" Like, in my mind, part of me was like, "I don't know if you're gonna be able to do all that." But I would tell him, no matter what, I would say, "You can and you should," because in my mind, I knew like the only way. Everyone needs support, and if there's anyone in his life, if there's anyone in my life that tells me I can't do something, it plants a seed that I can't. And so together we would just, I worked for free for him for I don't know years and years until we got married and had kids, and even then it's all ours. But like just worked because his ability to rally people is unlike anything you have ever seen before.
Wow.
Like he just when he speaks something, you're like,
I'm in.
that's insane, but I am in. Like it really, and yeah, it's the whole, if you can dream it, you can do it. I've always said this, like you, Chris, are the epitome of that because it's insane to actually see someone manifest something, like say it and then make it happen.
Right.
Like, and not give up until we get that. Like it is
willing to wait 10
Brett,
years.
You
Oh,
can,
yeah.
Who's in the
Oh,
room?
yeah. And then
Is it not
some.
the most insane thing? It's just go and go and go and go and go. And like he is so
But I
single-eyed,
needed somebody
single-minded.
to believe in my dreams because I started to lose faith in my ability
Right.
during my struggles. That's when I stopped dreaming during that time because life slapped me down. So for the first time, it was after I met her, someone believed in my dreams again. And because she believed, then I believed. And then and it fueled it. And no joke, it was within 9 months of us coming together. I'm a host of a television show on
Wow.
ABC.
Crazy.
And boom, 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 boom. And now we're writing books. And now we're growing a family. And all these things that we're we're manifesting. And
insane.
we would dream it together now. And it wasn't just me dreaming. It was like now we could dream together and we could believe in each other, and which we need. Because sometimes you don't believe in yourself. That's just the fact of the matter. Sometimes you lose that.
Yeah, and it's and you can probably attest for this. Like I know how hard Chris and I work, but I also think it's not just about hard work, because I'm sure there are people on this earth that work equally as hard as us that are, maybe in a factory somewhere,
Struggling,
right? Yeah, and like I could cry even like hearing you say that, because it's true, and they have the best intentions for their life and their family, but this is where they're at.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me not to feel like this is divine. Like there is we all have a purpose in this world, because for so many things to line up the way that they have, it's just like
It's crazy, huh?
where much is given, much is expected, though. And that, to me, I'm like, hey, we have a huge responsibility to uphold, and lives to change and people to help. And it's definitely not a selfish thing. And in my mind, I feel like the second anything becomes selfish, like that's grounds for all of this being taken away. And I'm sure you can relate. Don't you just feel so?
Look what you've built.
That's why that gratitude board you have in there. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is everything.
And the thing is, what you're doing is so much greater than just you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you're sharing this inspiration, motivation with the world.
Right.
And look what you've been able to build in 4 years.
Yeah.
But
been fun.
but your intention and the drive.
It's all about
behind it.
intention. I think people can achieve these big dreams and make a lot of money, but there's always going to be something missing inside if the intention isn't to serve a bigger purpose than themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at some
Amen.
point it's going to fall off, and there's going to be depression and other things. That's why it's like I've always, even with any little success that I have, I'm always surrounding myself with a good team that's just like, all right, how can we continue to impact and inspire and transform in our own way?
Yeah.
As opposed to how much more, money can we stack up on our bank account.
That's
you know what I mean?
exactly it. Yep.
And a lot of it's me. It's like I try to feel like I don't even have money. I just want to be able to invest it all back into the creation of what we're doing, into transforming more people or reaching more people. It's like, how can we make sure we're not going to go broke, but also like invest in as much back into people in the world?
Yes.
And I think that's the way to do
that.
And you're doing it. But and you're following your passion, and you're following this vision and this dream, and the money, the finances, just let them follow, because they're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
But your focus stays exactly where it should be, and as long as that happens, you are bound for greatness, my friend.
yeah.
Well,
the school of greatness.
And I love what you're saying. I'm sitting here. I'm like, well, the good news is Chris and I don't have a ton of money. So, like, with as much as we've accomplished, I look at our accounts and I'm like, it's
Isn't
clear.
it weird sometimes?
Right.
Even when you've made a lot of money that's come through the business, and you're like, well, it's all gone
But
somehow.
then
Like
at
the
the
taxes,
same-
and the team, and the development of products.
right.
It's like there's really not that much left over.
Totally.
But then
You
at the
gotta-
same time, I tell Chris all the time, I'm like, with or without money, we have everything. I feel like I am the richest human being
That's great.
in the entire world, with all the people we have surrounding us. Our kids are
Your
our
health.
Yes.
our health, like and just the opportunities to be able to accomplish some of the things that we've been able to accomplish. It's
It's a
amazing.
rich life.
with
Yeah.
the
It
impact.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's.
And
I can legitimately say that I am fulfilled in life.
that's
I
good.
feel great.
That's good.
But I can I can excitedly say that we're just getting started. Also,
yeah.
like it's going to get that much better, and it's so much greater than us. You know,
Yeah.
that's the best part about it.
What's been the biggest challenge for you guys as a partnership coming together, a relationship?
I'm all-
yeah,
I mean, where you,
Oklahoma. That's our safe word, right?
my safe word is keep going. Didn't John Cena say that in some movie? Yeah, keep going.
What were you saying?
you guys
were
were
we
both-
talking about your book?
Ow,
No,
your nails are digging into my leg right now.
Yeah, exactly. You guys were both kind of like, going through a transition and figuring out your lives when you met, it seems like. You're both in self-discovery, struggling, right? And then,
fidgeting.
and then within years, quickly you had this kind of recognition, fame, success, whatever. People knew who you were. You had your show. You started to make some money. Some opportunities came in. What was the biggest challenge as, I guess, you started to grow, well known, and you weren't as well known, and and there's opportunities. There's women throwing themselves at you. There's shiny objects. There's all these other things happening. You're getting all
women
these
and men
opportunities.
throwing themselves.
Yeah,
at you.
exactly. The fitness world
They
specifically.
weren't quite
right?
sure he was married or not yet,
Right,
so he was fair
exactly.
game.
So I guess as a relationship, how did you guys continue to stay strong, or were you not strong for a time?
No, we struggled. I mean, I think just like, as so many people would. So
maybe I should answer this.
and
so
you had
don't
two
feel like you're throwing me
kids.
under the bus.
And you had two
not at all.
kids.
I had
and so
two
it's
kids,
like,
yeah.
should we get married, or do I want to be with someone who's got kids
Right.
already? When you don't have kids yet, right?
That was actually a really big struggle right off the bat.
Yeah.
Even meeting her, she as soon as she told me she had two kids, I was like, "Whoa, friend zone. Okay,
Yeah,
here we
right,
go.
exactly.
We're cool." And same thing. She's
Or
like,
hookup buddy zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, we weren't even hooking up. I was so like, "No, I'm done with men."
We were legitimately friends.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, for probably about 4 months or so. Until actually, believe it or not, it was something I was terrified of. I was terrified of kids, and I was like, "Oh, when I have my own, it'll be good." But then, our relationship grew and grew, and then I actually saw her with her daughter for the first time, like being a mom, probably 4 or 5 months into our friendship, and she brought her daughter Marley over.
You fell in love.
Oh my
more.
gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And that's what I was so scared of. Oh my gosh, that's what I want in my life. And that was it. Then I just had to convince her that I'm
You're
not
like,
just
stay the night with me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not just some bachelor who just wants to
yeah.
hook up. Like, this is legitimately the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It was just her being a mom and the love that they had for each other. So that was done and over. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm all in there.
And then what was the big challenge then?
I do, and this is such a good question because actually no one has ever asked us this ever. We've
You guys seem
spoken
like
about
you have
it.
it all figured out. You guys are like,
And we
so
don't.
loving
You know?
together.
Like, hey,
connected.
and when we take a moment and we talk about what we're grateful for, which happens often.
Yeah.
That is what bonds us and brings us together. But we have just as many, if not more, in some ways, struggles as other couples because of what we deal with. And yeah, like what you're talking about, it's a challenge you don't expect and you don't even know is there. We know now, so bear with me if I don't make a lot of sense here, but
I'll let you start this and then I'll talk about
so yes, it was actually, that was totally unexpected, an actual very difficult time for me for a couple reasons. So when the show we were shooting that first year. Now, when we were shooting the first year, life was the same, like status quo.
It wasn't on the show.
Right.
It
Wasn't on
out
air
yet.
yet.
Wasn't on air yet.
Yeah, like and to me, Chris and I were always equal. Like he, was the dreamer, and he was
You
kind
were
of
executing,
and I was
everything.
executing, and he
You were
appreciated.
keeping him together. And
Yes, and if I feel appreciated, I am golden. Like I don't need money. I just need appreciation and to be told I am, enough.
Yes, of
That's
course.
what I need. And at the time, so in the middle of the year, my dad passed away, and then about the time, which was just really hard for me. And then about the time the show aired, actually a couple days after the very first show aired, I had Cash, our first child. So I was pregnant and totally hormonal anyway.
Of course.
So I will say at that time and after, a lot of things compound. I really struggled to see my value. And I was helping behind the scenes on the show. And I was giving, from the time the show started until ever, I was giving 20 hours a day, and we had people staying in my home with me. I felt like in a lot of ways, Chris would travel and be like, I'm just waiting to surprise James here. I have all day to do nothing.
And you're like, got 3 kids.
I had 3 kids, a newborn baby. My dad had just passed away. I have 6 people in town from the show. Like I was literally going, like I would have breakdowns.
Why am I doing this? Yeah.
Oh, I would. I'd be like, yeah. And luckily, I had someone I had helping me out in Arizona. But I'd be like, I can't handle this anymore. This is crazy. They want me. They need me. They're mad at me. It was just everything was compound at once, and then add to it. Yeah, when the recognition with Chris started, and we would everywhere we would go, everywhere.
He's getting. praise, and you're just like
and
sitting here in the background.
And I
that
felt horrible. Like people would say, "Oh my gosh,"
Well-
and I'd be like, "Oh, jeez," and I'd be like, "This is my wife. And she's amazing, and she does everything
but
with
I
me."
think
and,
too, I really had a hard time with his. This isn't the reality, but my story at the time was his focus is more, the show, and we have a effing family.
Yeah.
Like, I have 3 kids, and I am babysitting all of your other kids while you are filming. Like, that was the story I had in my head, and I'm doing all this behind the scenes, and you're just, and so there were definite, he'd be like, going to Tennessee, going to Nashville, watching all these bands tonight, and I was just like,
I stopped. Hold on.
He did
literally,
stop
I'd
going
call
out.
up and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just hanging out in the hotel tonight. nothing going on."
and then
Yep.
there were a few times where I would hear stories from production guys, which he wasn't.
Oh,
he
we
wasn't
did this
lying.
crazy
Yes.
adventure. And I'm like,
cool.
oh.
They were like, Chris, when he was drinking the other night,
the
like
girls
he
were
overtipped the
everywhere.
bar, and I'm like, what?
No, hold on. That happened like
One time.
twice.
Oh.
No, Texas and Nashville. I'll tell you exactly. Fort Worth and Nashville is the 2 times I drank with the crew.
But part
And
of
it
the
was
problem
literally
was,
like a drink because I do not do alcohol.
Yeah.
I will say
Not my
this.
thing.
Part of the problem was I was perpetually pregnant on the show and or nursing. So I was like, woo! I mean, the whole time, all 5 years. But after the first, and it was probably, I have to say, the only reason I ever ended up on camera in season 2 for the first season, and then 3, and then 4 and 5, we were co-hosts. Only reason is because Chris was he knew I was struggling with my worthiness, and and he knew how much I was giving, and he wanted me to feel that
Absolutely.
accomplishment and that acknowledgement. So any chance he would get, and it would make me cry. I would sit there watching interviews, and I will cry now. But no, really, he was the sweetest, and he would be sitting in a boardroom with all of these media people, like, for the show. It was ABC had set up this huge press conference, and they would ask a question and say, "You've done this, this, and this for your people," and he would say, "Guys, like, the magic is my wife." Like, he would literally, and I'd be like, gosh. But I really think, like, him doing that so much made people like, "Hey, who's this wife? Like, who's
We
this
need
secret
her."
weapon?" And
Yeah.
then they're like, "Put her on camera," and I'm like, "What am I doing? I don't know how to be on camera. I don't know what I'm doing," and
I was just follow me. Let's just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's
and
have
it was
some
so
fun. And
uncomfortable for
Oh
me.
my gosh.
I just wanted his acknowledgement, his love. But our executive producer, the showrunner, was just, he loved the reality of what was happening. He loved that the people were a part of our family. He loved that Chris and I did this together. And over time, he was like, "Gosh, we've got to make this, like, the world needs to see, like, what's really happening."
And that was the reality of it. It wasn't me. It was us, and we were doing it. And so it was a natural pull to bring her in, and so that they can really capture how this whole thing works.
Yeah.
And then
I'm an ugly crier. So.
no, and it was so awesome. Then before you know it, season 3 they introduced Heidi, and then her, and then all of a sudden people, like, we go places and people start freaking out because it's Heidi
Which
Powell.
I'll cry about now because I don't feel like I deserve it,
And but even at that, I mean, like, when, like, something that we've definitely struggled with also is, like, then all of a sudden, like, her brand starts to grow, and mine's up here, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now all these people are freaking out when they see
And
her.
you're
and
not
I'm like,
getting the attention.
And I'm like,
You're
well,
like, what about me?
What about me? Exactly.
So how do you guys manage your egos in the whole situation as well?
It just being totally transparent, it still is a challenge sometimes. Well, when all of a sudden things started to grow big with her, it actually brought about something I've struggled with for a long time that I didn't even know was there, and I'll never forget when it actually came up. We're sitting in a Starbucks parking lot, and all of a sudden, like, Heidi is like, everybody wants Heidi, and she's getting speaking engagements, and all these things are happening, and I ended up, like, breaking down in this parking lot, and because as her brand started to grow, I've always had this innate fear that I'm just scared of losing her. And so I've always been terrified that she's going to leave me. And if I don't have that value, then, because when I'm here, she wants to be with me, and
Desirable.
yeah, and it's so crazy because she met me when I had nothing, and all of a sudden things took off, and I kept thinking she loves me, and we've got all these things going on because I'm here, and now she's coming up, and so then she's not going to need me anymore, and so that just brought like for me that was a huge struggle, and again it all stems, deep inside there's an 8-year-old kid who feels like he doesn't have any value, and so he feels like it's all these things that he's created, and that's why people love him. And it's as long as I keep creating, then people are going to love me for it. And so it brought it. I got stripped down of everything, and it was just me and her in the car, and I just broke down, and I just said, I am so terrified that you're going to leave me. That if I don't have this anymore, or if now that you're above me, you're there. You're not going to need
Which
me
I'm
anymore.
not. But
No, but
story and
that had to come out. And so now, and that was just a couple years ago, and it's great because now it's there, and it's so crazy because like I'm aware of it, but there's still those feelings that I'm still working through, and it's like in finding just the value in and of myself, and not in what I create, and not in or how. Basically
The celebrity
in
of
the
it.
brand or
Yeah.
anything.
So how do you guys build a great marriage and business partnership, working together with your business together, your brands, and also being married?
Yeah.
How do you
we
keep
make
it
work?
strong?
How
do you have rituals or habits that you guys do together every morning, every night, during the day? Like what makes it continue to be strong when those fears come up?
I will say this. I think the foundation of it is actually our wedding ring. Excuse me. It's my best friend. It's blurred together because it's been so long. But it's my best friend in my handwriting on his finger and his handwriting on mine. Wow. It is as long as we remember, and we will have times maybe once a week where we're like, okay, would you treat your best friend like this? And the other one is quickly like, no. Okay. Wow. And it's the ability to be vulnerable, which is really hard to do, and authentic, in moments where, either of us are heated. If we can stop ourselves and bring ourselves there, and deep down, even if, we're reacting or we're saying things we shouldn't, because we do, we're human.
Oh, yeah. we do all the time.
Both of us, we know, like when he's acting a certain way, I'm like, he knows in his mind right now that he shouldn't be saying this. Maybe I just need to walk away for a little bit, but we're not perfect. We definitely have big fights. But I will say, excuse me, guys, your ability to recognize what you're doing wrong after the fact is incredible. I don't even have that.
You're quick to
it's sometimes not quick, but
I need to walk away, and I got to cool off
sooner.
But usually you'll get an apology within about a half an hour.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so
once you breathe, you're like,
that's it. Yeah,
And
who am I being?
Yeah.
My ego, or am
Yeah.
I coming from love? Yeah.
Yes.
And mostly it's coming from me, and I'm just being. Most of the time coming from ego.
Yeah.
Coming from some sort of fear, or some sort of hurt, and then I just need to step away, identify where it's coming from, feel what I'm feeling, then I'll come back and apologize.
Yeah.
And that's really helped out a lot, because if I dug my heels in on that and didn't apologize, and I wouldn't blame you, like it would be a disaster.
Wow.
But it works really well, and likewise. And a lot of times, like she'll know sometimes when I'm coming from a place, and she can see the matrix, man. She's the ultimate life coach. She's like, you're coming from a place of fear right now. It's all ego. You're just trying to look
But
good.
I
You're
try
not
not
going
to
to back
say
up
it
because of this and this. And
You want to be right.
and then of course at the time I'm all, no, I'm not.
Usually with
But
a few other words.
deep down inside I'm like,
Yeah, right.
damn, she totally just called me out. But she's very understanding.
Yeah.
And then when I apologize, she's always gracious. Thank you. And likewise, it takes a little more time for her to apologize to me too, because she's a little more.
24 hours.
because
not
I'm
30
not-
minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Because
Sometimes
I'm
I took
never
a while.
wrong.
I'm patient. Yeah, I'm patient.
Yeah,
I
it's
can wait
good.
for it.
That's good. Man.
But
No.
balance is definitely something we still struggle with. I mean, especially like now, there's so much going on in our lives, and on the most wonderful levels, as far as business goes and our family, and like everything's awesome, but we have not taken enough time for each other. We simply haven't.
But you say that, but then I have times where, that's my story to myself always is we don't have enough, there's not enough time for family or me, whatever. But then at the same time, I sit there and I'm like, but would I have it any other way? No, because guess what?
absolutely not.
We might not go to a movie once a week, And we might not take vacations for the purpose of vacationing, once a month or whatever, once a year, but we get to build something freaking incredible together.
Yeah.
Like, how many other couples get to and can do that? Because some spouses can't even be in the same room for an hour together,
Right.
5
Right.
minutes, we are literally together 24/7 and
Yeah.
we make it happen.
I think balance is really a challenging thing. If you want to achieve something at the highest level, I don't think you can have
Yeah.
balance.
No.
We agree.
I don't
yeah.
think you can.
Yeah, we agree.
I think there's if there's all these different categories of your life, there's your health and wellness, there's your career, there's your relationships, there's your kids, there's whatever fun, play, adventure, vacations.
Yeah.
If one thing wants to be great, you need to spend most of your time on that one
Yes.
thing.
Right.
And the rest of the stuff, you just have to be intentional with the time you spend on it.
Amen.
And sometimes maybe you add a little more time to some other box of your
Yes.
life, but
Yes.
really, the greatest athletes in the world don't say, I'm just going to practice an hour today and I'll be the best.
Right.
They practice the entire day and obsess over it,
Right.
everything they do, to give themselves a chance of maybe going to the top. You experience this. It's like the difference between a good NFL player and the best at that position is an obsession of it in their life.
Yes.
And there's not this healthy relationships.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
be obsessed, or I can
balance.
be, or
Yes.
I can be really good.
Yeah.
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 So I think,
We totally agree. Yep.
and it's
You
like,
actually just made me feel a lot better. I'm like,
I just think it's what is your priority? Do we want to have an equal balance on everything in my life, or do I
Do
want to
we
be
wanna
great at
excel?
something for 5 to 10 years, and then maybe
Yes.
can maintain the momentum, and then put
Yeah.
other time and energy in something else.
Yep.
And I don't think you need a lot of time on certain things. Like, even when you say you want more time together, you need more time. It's
but
like,
do we need it?
if you stared at each other's eyes for 30 minutes a day and focused on each other for 30 minutes, you'd probably be like, that's all I need.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
Totally. Yeah.
I
or just
don't-
have
I don't
more
think it-
intimate, vulnerable
5
moments.
minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe
But I
like
mean-
60 seconds.
I mean, if you spent a few moments where you just really connected, as
Right.
opposed to we're just gonna sit around and be on our phones
Yeah.
more time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
then you wouldn't need hours every day.
So true.
We
And the fact of the
connected
matter is,
yesterday.
we did.
Hey, you know what?
Were you in the room, or was it in a private room?
All we needed was 2.5 minutes. That's it, right there.
No.
Balance. We just found balance. We're good. Now let's work.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
No,
my
you're spot on
gosh.
though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. We have pushed so much of our time and energy into building something because we have an opportunity to create something amazing right now. When it comes to transformation and really making a dent in this world, and
Yeah.
we are together, we are running full force
Yeah.
toward that.
Let me ask you another question. Unless you had something to say about
No, I was going to say the only thing that does require balance is parenting because we do have
yes.
four kids.
The
Well, yeah,
kids.
And
definitely need time.
my kids are my world.
Yeah.
They really, truly.
Yeah.
I would give up every single thing that I have in this. And I tell him this every day. I would give up every opportunity for those kids because they are that amazing.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to see how forgiving they are of us and how wonderful they are. Luckily we get to work from home when we're
Yeah,
in
it's great.
Arizona.
Yeah,
Which
it's
really
And they
helps,
don't
yeah.
know the difference, and they get to climb on our laps
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we're working. They get to meet all the people we work with. I mean, they love
That's great.
life.
It's like a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's funny because I say we're running toward business, but we're kind of taking all these other buckets with us.
great. Yeah, it's
You
great.
know, so we're all
That's
kind of
how
in
we
it together.
balance.
Yeah,
Just jump on my back.
That's our definition of balance.
Sure,
That's
sure.
exactly it.
Now, how did you guys both? Because the show ended 2015? Is that right? Essentially,
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
it's syndicated, so it's still out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Stop filming.
But going from being the people
Yeah.
on ABC, right? And it's every week you guys are out there and people are talking about your press and Oprah
Yeah.
and Dr.
Right,
Oz.
right,
And,
right.
it's
Yeah.
crazy to not having a show for 2 years. That's a new show coming out every week.
Right.
How do you guys transition with this feeling relevant or feeling worthy enough, or are we
Right.
going downhill now since we don't have a show that's happening?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might both have slightly different answers to this, because I think to an extent it hasn't hit yet, to be honest, because we are in 148
Because it's
countries.
still syndicated everywhere it's happening.
syndicated.
It's
We've
crazy.
been building. Yeah,
it's
we've
so
been,
cool at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah.
great.
we've been building these things, and I think in
That's
my
nice.
world there's a lot of fit moms that need advice right now,
Mm-hmm.
and so we haven't, but I am preparing for it because I know at some point the wave, you know, the
Show
wave
may not be
crashes.
on anymore,
Yeah, absolutely.
And you guys were never really big on social media before, were you? Or
No,
just like a little bit here and there?
it kind of grew organically, and I still struggle with it. Like
Yeah.
as far as my posts is like,
I think
I'm just
they're
not as
great.
consistent as I should be.
She's doing it for you. And like, this process.
That just happened in the car on the way here.
Yeah.
I'm literally driving, and I was like, "Hey, could you post for me real quick?" You know?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I will. I'll get
Yeah.
there. You know, in my world of balance and all the buckets,
Sure.
I'm taking care of one thing first, then I'll jump over into social. She's really good on social,
Yeah.
but
I don't know
no,
about
like
that.
so when the whole show when we got the phone call, they said, you know what, we're not going to be renewing your contract. You know, thank you so much. You know, it was a great run. Blah blah blah. I cried at first just because that was all I'd known for the last 5.5, 6 years.
Yeah. It's part of your identity.
Oh boy, you just hit
Extreme
the
weight
nail.
loss
You
guy.
better, yeah, and especially even
Now
as
who are you?
as a life
Yeah.
coach, you know, I'm like, oh, I knew right away. I was like, I'm totally having an identity crisis right now, and I did. And it's funny because like when you spend so much time life coaching other people, you experience
You
it,
can
and
call
you're
yourself
going
on
through
it.
it yourself, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wrote a chapter on this, and I'm feeling it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You know, but after 24 hours, it was like literally like, oh my gosh, I can build it now. We can do
it.
this.
Yeah, you have time.
Yes. One of the biggest struggles that we had for 5.5 years was when we had the show that starts off with, you know, Mary wrote a letter to Chris and Heidi, and Chris and Heidi surprised her. Could you imagine the letters that we get? Because that's how the show starts. And
Thousands
so
of letters you get probably, right?
tens of
Hundreds
thousands.
of
We
thousands.
yeah, we got probably a total of about 650,000 or so
way.
emails from people asking for help. Do you know how
That's
heartbreaking
a big
that
email list.
It
you
is.
save them in your
It is
email
a
list?
big
We
email
saved them.
list.
We haven't
got
done
them
anything
all.
with them, so they're all cold
That's
now.
it.
Now you have a program you can create
Because
for them all.
we had to build something for them because the thing is, and then they go, great, now you get to select 15 people a year
Oh
to
my
help. And we were like,
gosh.
great. There's 700,000 people that are asking for help. How the heck are we supposed to do this? So for 5 years, that tormented us because look at all the people that that genuinely need the help. They're ready. They went so far as to write handwritten letters
I
or
know.
5-page emails of please
Images
help
of
me.
them.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
heartbreaking.
And even
Like,
harder
we
is
would
when we ran into
literally
people
read
in
them
person.
tears.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just just heartbreaking. So the whole time we're like, as soon as we can, we're gonna build the machine. We're gonna show these people we can take them through transformation. We just need the time to do it. So as soon 24 hours, it felt bad for myself. We hugged and cried a lot,
And
and
then
then
you're
it
like,
was
"Let's take
like,
action."
oh my gosh, let's do this. Spent 2 years. And pretty much all the money we had saved, basically. And we built this huge digital platform to take people through the journey of transformation.
At home when they can
Yes,
do it on their own. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
we started reaching out to these other amazing partnerships, like with food, and so now we got pre-portioned food, so we can feed people. Now bring in the supplements, and so we're creating like a whole ecosystem of transformation. It is the best, like the next best thing to literally having us like right there with you. And so like now we can build it. We're still like putting the finishing touches on the rest of the system, but it's like we're right there.
Wow.
And it's just so exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you guys really used the opportunity where the show was
Oh,
coming
yes.
on and you took it into action.
Yeah, and we're just getting started.
I'm curious. I mean, what is it? 1 in 3 people in America are overweight. Is that the
2 of 3.
Yeah. I was
2 out of
gonna
3
say,
now?
Yeah, so 74%.
Well, I mean, when I see this sometimes, and I get it because I've never been like super overweight, but I was like 255, 260, where I was just like after football, I just like kept eating whatever, and I moved to New York City, and every street corner I was like, I want that, I want those peanuts, and I want this, and I was just like, and I just kept eating. I was just like, I'll be fine, but no, I wasn't. I just kept gaining. And they started calling me Fluis for Fat Lewis because I was just like so chubby.
buddy.
It wasn't that bad, but it was just
Yeah,
like,
still.
my friends were like, "You get a little fat there, you know."
Yeah.
But I could kind of hide it because I'm tall or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just started realizing like, wow, I'm just not happy with myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not eating right. And so I really started to just learn more about and educating myself about food and fitness because I was just training and eating whatever I wanted in my teens and 20s. I could do it.
Yep.
And you were praised to eat when you were playing football.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
was
we used
just
to
eat,
after practice, we would get 2 Chipotle burritos, 2 with double meat, 2 of them. You know what I mean?
my
And then it's
gosh.
like after every meal, I had to have some type of milkshake,
Yeah.
or candy
Right.
bar. Like I would just eat candy bars for meals.
Right.
And it worked for you.
Yeah, it was great.
And no one ever really taught you how to do it otherwise.
No, I didn't know. I just was super uneducated.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
didn't know. And then I went to New York and I started learning about juicing and green juice, and I was like, I'll never drink this stuff. But then I started drinking it. I started to feel better. And I was just like, let me learn more. Let me learn more. And there's so much I'm still learning, which is challenging because there's so much research that contradicts itself in every area of the nutrition world, right?
Yes.
You know, there really is.
So many different documentaries. And
Yes.
different,
and you don't know who's backing which documentary.
Preparing for what?
Yes.
What the health I saw the other day. And I was like, I don't know. That's all this stuff. Yeah. So when people start to gain the weight and then it just keeps piling on.
Yeah.
How does this happen, first off? Because I started to recognize, like, wow, I don't want to be this way anymore. Let me make a change. Yeah. But 2 out of 3 people, it sounds like, don't make the change, or they continue. Like, once you're 100 pounds overweight, how do you get to be 200 pounds overweight?
Right. What
is the mindset that these individuals you've worked with for so long that get them to a place of, like, no return?
Right.
How do people get there? And what's the quickest way they can switch it in their mind? Because I really feel like it's a switch. It's a decision for me to be like, 3 weeks ago, I said, I'm not having any more sweets.
Right.
Like, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Like, no candy bars. It's like, I can't just, like, in moderation.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't once a week for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And try to get lean and shredded. Like, it's just not going to work. Because I'm like, well, I had one. Let me just have all day of everything.
The dam breaks.
4 pizzas and 5 milkshakes. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
So how do people first go there to themselves where they just like, it's like either they don't care or they're just like they don't know how, or what is that? And then how do they make a decision to actually switch it?
Great questions.
To transform.
Yes, great questions. Now, and just in our experience, it seems like everybody's path is a little bit different. Now, there's a common denominator, especially among the folks that we've worked with, that a lot of your viewers have probably seen on the show. Many of them, they are dealing with a true food addiction, and so the food is, they have an unhealthy relationship with food, and they're using it to numb some other emotions that they do not want to deal with in life. And so a lot of times that has happened from traumatic experiences in the past. And those traumatic, there's a laundry list.
Of course, sexual abuse,
molestation, abandonment, whatever that might be, failure, etc. But then there's other people who've actually just come up, like yourself. You came up through sports, and so the thing is, you were praised based on those behaviors. So you learned those behaviors. Yeah. It wasn't a coping mechanism emotionally, but instead those were behaviors.
There's a habit,
positive reinforcement behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was the one thing. So you're like, okay, well, this has worked for me to this point, and you just haven't learned any other way around it. So there's 2 different individuals here that we're dealing with, just based on where they came up, how they came up through life.
Why do they continue to put on the weight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, once you're 100 pounds overweight, like, are you aware yet? Like, that you're overweight? And
some people are, and some people are not. I will say there are a handful of people that come to us and they're like, I didn't even realize, like, I knew I was 300 pounds, but I didn't even realize what that looked like or what that was until either a doctor said something, or they saw a picture of themselves, or whatever it was.
They saw a reflection in a mirror.
Yeah, it's body dysmorphia in the other way. Like, they don't even understand. It doesn't even resonate that that's unhealthy, or that's something that they never thought they were going to be until they view themselves from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And then as far as why they don't make a change, and then some of them actually continue, you hit the nail on the head. People don't know how. They don't know how. It's a lack of education. And I think so often people, I'm like seeing this triangle here, they actually view it as this huge mountain, like this Mount Everest. Like, I have to do, especially once you hit the point of no return, they think. Like, when they're at 300 pounds or whatever that number is, it's different for everyone. They think, in order for me to get to where I need to be, I'm going to have to cut everything out of my diet. I'm going to have to work out for hours
that's a
a day.
miserable life.
Exactly.
Yes.
And what happens is they try, and they try, and they
do
try,
1
and
week,
they
2
fail.
weeks, and they're like,
Yep, they try and they fail. They try and they fail.
They continue to fail, and before they know it, they don't believe in themselves anymore at all.
Like, screw it, I'm never gonna get
Yes, and so they try and convince themselves and everyone around them that they are happy with who they are and where they're at, because they don't believe that they have what it takes to lose the weight. They might see people on TV that do it, but in their minds they're like, well, it's because they have a trainer doing this, they have this, I'm different, my body is different. Well, the fact of the matter is, no one's body is different, but the approach is different for the people that are actually successful. The ones that are successful start so incredibly small. Like, think about it. When you make a change in your life, a big change, where you're sitting right now, right? didn't happen because one day you're like, I'm going to build this humongous thing, and I'm doing everything today.
One interview at a time.
One
There it is.
little baby step at a
And
time.
like, how can I make it a little bit better each time?
That's
How can I learn? How can I,
exactly. And that's how transformation happens.
Yeah.
It's not about committing to 20 things at one time.
Right.
It's about making what we call a power promise, one power promise to yourself at a time. For a lot of people, we tell them, start with just drinking an extra quart of water every single day. And they're like, really? Like, that's the magic Chris and Heidi Powell are going to give to me? We're like, yes. Because once you do that and you fulfill that commitment every freaking day, like, you don't
miss a day,
you never miss a
That's
day. It has to be
exactly
so
Yep.
stupidly simple that you will never miss a day. Guess what? By the end of that week,
Start to believe in yourself.
that's yes.
You
And
build
that's
I just got
momentum.
chills.
Yep. You just
Integrity
said
and
it.
momentum.
That's exactly what it is.
course.
Because we take people who have lost hope in themselves
Yes.
because they're looking at it, they say, I've tried and failed so many times, there's no way I'm ever going to get there. And that's exactly how we grow it, is just one simple promise at a time. And by doing that, you keep yourself winning. And if you can keep yourself winning, you start to believe in yourself again. And there's nothing more powerful than belief. The human mind, a human that believes in themselves and something that they can do and accomplish, there is absolutely nothing that can stop them.
Yeah.
And they will always put forth the effort required to get them where they want to go and beyond. And that's, for us, that is the
Everything.
juice that makes it all worth the squeeze. When all of a sudden we're working with someone and they reach a point, sometimes it's 2 months in, sometimes it's 6 months in, and they go, what else can I do? Then it's our job as coaches. Let's just get out of your way and just let you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now you just take those tiny little steps and look where you can go.
Yeah, but you got to make the commitment to yourself mentally first,
Yes.
don't you? Say, I'm going to commit to this every single day.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But that's why we shrink that commitment down
Do
to
it for
something.
a week or something.
Yes,
Yep.
and it's to a point where the commitment that we have to make, with power promise is what we call it. It has to be so small, it's almost to a point where when they go, as soon as they chuckle, like, that's ridiculous, that's so easy. We go, boom, that's it.
Do it, Dad.
That's our
Yeah.
power promise. Okay, cool, we're going to do this for the next week. And they go, are you kidding me? Of course I can do that for the next
Okay,
week. I was
then
like,
you can do something
okay,
else too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we're not going to take on the second one yet. Let's just do this for the next week. They do it for next week? Okay, let's pile the next one on. Let's pile the next one on. And it's one step at a time.
Yeah.
We never try to make a quantum leap, because if you do, you're going to fall twice as far down.
Yeah.
You're going to fail. So we just keep building it, and before you know it, as you build it, you build their integrity, you build their dignity, and before you know it, like, we love it, because at the end of the year, these people walk out there, and they're on stage, and their chin is high, and their chest is out.
Crazy.
The fact that they lost 200 pounds is an afterthought, because if you ask all of them, they're like, they'll just tell you, the secret is that I'm a promise keeper to myself.
Wow.
I believe in myself, and I love myself. That's what you see. And everyone's like, oh, you lost 200 pounds. Like, yeah, that's nice. I did that too.
But I kept my word.
But I kept
Yeah.
my word to myself.
Yeah.
That's the secret to everything. If you ask anyone who's gone through transformation with us, they'll tell you the number one thing. Who are you? They say, I'm a promise keeper to myself. If I give you my word, I will keep my word.
Wow.
I don't care. And they'll never talk about their weight, because the weight doesn't matter.
Mm.
And you can take that and you can plug it into every aspect of your life, and you can achieve that greatness.
Zing. Powerful.
Hey, that's the secret
Well,
sauce right there.
yeah.
So mic drop.
I like that. I like that.
Right?
Wow.
No, that's how we do what we do.
Yeah.
Well, one thing though, just to add on to that, I think that sets the successful ones apart from the unsuccessful ones, is the wherewithal to know that it's okay to fall. Because that is another thing. It's like they see these incredible journeys. They see these people making these, even if it's little baby steps, one after another. In their minds, they see that success, and they're like, but I'm imperfect. Well, once they realize that everyone else around them that's succeeding is imperfect too, they realize they can do it. It's not how many times you fall. It's about getting up more times than you fall. Even if it's 1,500 times. If you get up 1,501 times,
Right.
you win.
Right.
Just keep getting up.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, can you do it on your own if you're 300
Yes.
pounds overweight? Can you do it on your
100%.
own? Or do you need
Absolutely.
accountability or some type of coach or support?
Well,
Accountability and support,
Granted,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The accountability is huge, and the moment you actually have a support system, a transformation team, your chances of success, they're going to skyrocket exponentially, because you've got that connection. Connection is everything in the world of transformation. Now, can you do it on your own? Yeah, but there's
much
not
harder.
It's like existing on your own.
You know,
It's not that much fun.
We are
No.
social beings, and we need that connection. I mean, it's innate. It's inside all of us. We need that connection for survival. We need it for emotional health. We need it for everything. And so it's really, really important when, especially, and it to speak to, there's people out there that actually have, a support system that's really not a support system at all.
It's almost bringing them down.
That's absolutely it is. You bet. And so it's
like
really
the crabs in the bucket.
I say that all the time. And once one gets to the top, oh my gosh, how do you even? I say that and people they'll look at me all dog-eared. And I'm like, you kidding me? Crabs in a bucket. Once one gets to the top, the other ones they grab it and they pull it down.
And sometimes they'll kill the crab.
Yes.
if
Dude,
they try to get
so
out.
True.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just said that. You've made my day. But that's exactly what it is. Because other people, if you have one individual in a group of friends that's like, I'm going to transform, and they're like, well, what does that mean about me? Because the thing is that for them, they're like, well, I don't know if I'm ready, and all this fear, and then all of a sudden one person says, I want to transform, and they start changing their life, and then they start to worry that they're going to lose their friend, or they're going to lose their spouse, because the thing is, they're changing their life and they're moving on without us. Wait a second, what about us? And so it's when they try to grab you back in and say, hey, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Come on, just like old times. Let's go get a beer and some chicken wings. And they try to lure you back in because a lot of times it's all fear-based. They just don't want to be abandoned. But then here you are. You're like, I'm ready for a change. I don't want to be sick and unhealthy anymore. I want to feel better. I want this. But it's hard because then you've got your social system, the support system that could be undermining you. So it's really important to help identify that and find people who are going to support you. And one of the first things that we'll do in the journey of transformation is take people and then go through that very first hurdle of introducing them to new friends out there, walking them into a yoga group or a CrossFit class or a walking group, and just introduce them to other like-minded people that are looking to change their lives as well. Very, very necessary in the process.
Absolutely.
Online. Look at all the chat rooms and everything online of people that are loving fitness and changing their lives. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much here, but
No,
but yeah,
it's all
no,
good.
it's really important. I think especially online, there's so much support out there now. Yeah, which people really need.
What's your guys' vision moving forward now? You've got this new platform. What's the platform called you guys have?
Oh, well,
the site or the platform?
It's
or the
Transform
system?
with Chris and Heidi is the platform.
.com or no?
You
That's
can go
actually-
to .com, yes.
Well,
But
it's the transformapp.com.
The transformapp.com.
yes.
Cool.
So the app is the Transform app.
Is this an online app on your computer or on your mobile
mobile
device?
phone, yeah. So Apple and Google, yes.
Got it. It's an app you download.
Yes, exactly. And
Got it.
it takes you through the whole journey of transformation, whether it's weight loss, physique, women's physique, men's physique, cross training, whatever transformation that you want. You're going to jump on, you're going to onboard. It's going to take all of your biometrics. It'll customize a full nutrition program specifically for you. It'll take you through a full year and beyond of training in whichever direction you want to go. I mean,
does it create programming for you? Does it create
everything.
nutrition, programming, everything?
And
is videos by you guys teaching? Or
over
is
1,000 videos by us.
Just you two?
Absolutely, yes.
There's no other trainers in it? It's just you two?
It's us.
Wow.
And it's Transform with Chris and Heidi.
Crazy.
And over 1,000 workouts in it. I mean, there's 350 recipes. And the thing is, so you jump in there and it says like bacon, mac, and cheese. It's going to actually program all the portions for my bacon, mac, and cheese are going to be different from your portions because we're looking for two different things. So it'll actually scale the recipes up and down to you. It'll scale it down to me. It'll scale it down to her. So everyone's journey is totally unique. And so it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is 100% customizable to you. But then all the workouts are, you're a sports guy. Everything's progressive overload. So it's not like, oh, here's a back and bicep workout.
Yeah.
Thanks, right? No, your body changes, and as it adapts, you need more volume, you need more load. So
Can't
your
do the
back,
same thing every day.
chest, shoulders, and buys, or back readouts and buys, or maybe a cross training workout on day 1 is very different from a cross training workout on day 48 because it's progressed you up. So because your body, like this is about getting stronger, faster, better, leaner. So it's like everything is done. There's integrity behind everything that we build. And so that's why we're so stoked on this thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're fired up
Did it
about
already
it.
came out or is it coming out
That
right
actually came out in March.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been out for a few months. Huge results so far. It's been
Amazing.
awesome
It's
to
been
see all the
so
testimonials.
cool to see the testimonials coming down the pipes. And we're working on 2.0 right now. And then pretty soon, actually in a couple
weeks now,
we've got our it's meals, fresh meals.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fresh by Transform. You want to
delivery.
Rundown on it? Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
All over the country, or where is this?
Well,
Just
okay,
in
so we're
Phoenix?
opening up regionally first.
What's that?
It's I need to open up my phone to see, but I think it's Colorado,
Oh,
Arizona.
we're Nevada, Arizona,
Nevada,
Colorado, North
Utah.
Texas, Utah, Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Dakota. Yeah, so we're basically it's all most of the Midwest, all the way out to the California border. We'll be opening up California in September.
What's it called?
Fresh by Transform. And so, and all of these meals are going to range between 270 up to like 450 calories. They're all low carb, high protein meals, and so they support the fitness lifestyle beautifully.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll send you some. Best
it out.
part, dude. So we actually we teamed up. I get fired up about this stuff. I'm so stoked because we've got this it's brand new technology that they use to actually to seal and preserve the food.
Oh,
so
really? So it
as-
can last a little bit longer, or it's
Oh,
not
dude.
like 2 days and it's soggy and
Right? So as soon as the food comes out of the kitchens, it's called high pressure pasteurization. So they seal it with 86,000 pounds of pressure and they hit it with cold water and it literally locks everything in. It's almost like it freezes time on the flavor of the food. We don't have to preserve it with chemicals anymore.
Wow, that's
we don't have
nice.
to use insane amounts of sodium. The only sodium we use now is just for flavor. And so when you actually cook it, and it's going to help, the food will actually keep for over 30 days now.
No way.
Versus an 8-day refrigerator fresh meal. Now this is refrigerator
So
fresh for 30
another
days.
thing.
is this
Check this
sealed
out.
tight on it, or
Yes.
is it just a
Sealed.
plastic over the top?
It's
Sealed tight.
vacuum sealed
Vacuum.
with 86,000 pounds. It's because we use that.
Wow.
That's why there's no chemicals in it.
That's amazing.
And it's brand new technology. And so, like,
That
when we
thing
say it's
is
fresh,
huge.
it's legitimately fresh.
So we are the only person in this space that has the USDA all natural stamp of approval. So our food, every single one of our meals is totally certified all natural.
Every
I'm
ingredient.
gonna have to try it.
Oh, dude, we'll send you some meals.
Okay.
You're going to love it. Yep.
Cool, amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so where can they get the app or the?
So for the app, it's thetransformapp.com. For this, it's freshbytransform.com.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's August 14th is our launch date.
Sweet.
Yes. And then by the end of the year, we're going to be,
We'll
have
be in
something to say?
Whole Foods
Everywhere.
and Kroger stores.
Really?
Yes.
Kroger. Speaking
So-
my language.
But
that's
oh yeah,
from
they're
Ohio.
Ohio, Cincinnati based. That's right. So yeah, so
I grew up with Kroger.
That's
yes.
right. So yeah, so we're
So they're
it's
gonna be in Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Boxes.
They
Or do
love the
come-
concept.
Is it the boxes, or would it be
Yeah.
like just the meals?
No, you'll see
themselves?
the meals just like that.
Wow, that's amazing.
We're so excited because
Congrats
finally,
on that.
you know what? We're fired up about it. And hold on.
Sorry, I thought you said to swipe left. You said don't swipe left.
Showed another. That's the bathroom photos.
I was like, whoa, hold on. But yeah, no, we're really excited because we brought the concept to Whole Foods and
Amazing.
Kroger and everything. They're like, this is amazing.
That's
this is
great.
so cool. What you guys, especially because like, and the meals have got the digital backing behind it. So it's like, as you're not just purchasing a meal, but there's a transformation with it.
It helps you. Gotcha.
Totally.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing. What's the mission for all of this then moving forward? Since you're the show is you're not continuing the show and
Right.
you're syndicated still, but you're doing this new transform stuff.
It's actually to build the tools, products, and services to help people live happier, healthier lives.
There you go.
That's what we set out to do years ago. We just couldn't really do it with the show. We could provide the inspiration, but not the
Not the
tools,
tool,
and
no,
now we can.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Thank
I'm
you.
pumped for you guys.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
And
you
what's,
so much.
What's your social? You guys hang out more on Instagram, Twitter? Which one?
Instagram and Facebook
Yeah,
for me.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
But I'm on Twitter, Pinterest, all that stuff. So it's he's at Real Chris Powell. I'm at Real Heidi Powell on all platforms.
Someone
so
had
simple.
your names?
YouTube.
Well, yeah, and also,
Actually, they
you know what's
did.
crazy? Is
Well, they did with him, and then I'm like, well, I got to follow suit because
yeah, and
we wanted
right.
it easy.
as soon as things started taking off, especially in the weight loss space, all of a sudden, all these other Chris Powell accounts started popping up with
Oh,
like
yeah.
diet pills and everything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and you're like, oh, come on, guys,
Yeah, yeah.
please, So,
yeah.
especially in that space,
Yeah, yeah.
so we had to be real Chris and real Heidi Powell. So,
I want to ask a couple final questions.
Okay. Bring it on. Bring it on.
This one is I want you guys to answer about each other.
Okay.
So-
There's some laughs going on behind the camera. Should I
I don't even
be
know what
worried about this?
I haven't planned this, but I was just curious. The thing that you love about Heidi the most that no one else does like she does, what would that be?
You're going to have to stretch. Find something here.
the one thing that I love about Heidi the most, I'm gonna say, and aside from business and all that, she is genuinely like the greatest life coach of all. And this is like when our relationship began, her intentions are so amazing and pure. And she, and this is how I knew even early on, like, so what an amazing person she is, but also that she genuinely loves me, which I need that kind of comfort and that solace. But even in the worst of times, she is always there to try to help me through, to like coach me through. And whether or not she has like she feels warranted to do it or not, she will always just jump in there and try to pull me up. And she's spent her life for the last 7 years trying to pick me up. And most of the people, out there, they haven't seen that part of me falling down and not believing and beating myself up. And she's spent the last 7 years picking me back up.
Wow.
And there's a reason why we're here right now. It's because of her.
I don't know about that.
Because she's the one who keeps picking me up and keeps us going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I love you. And I love you
I
for
love
that,
you
and I love
too.
you for so many more reasons. But thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
nice.
And what about with him? Thing you love about him the most?
There's a lot, and I get ready. I'll
One
try.
thing.
I'll try. Oh,
One
gosh.
thing. One thing.
Gosh, I'm gonna try and stick with one, but I'm like worried. I'm like, what if this isn't the highest priority one?
You guys can have a love fest later and share all these things.
You'll come up with something really good in the car. Like 5 minutes down the road, you'll be like, "Oh, I should have said that."
Why is Chris your man, and what makes him so unique and special?
There is no one on this earth like Chris. There truly there is no one that, like, I feel like Chris is on this earth for a reason, to make a huge impact. Like, he is so dedicated to his purpose. It's not even, I have never met a harder working, more dedicated, pure intended individual than him.
Wow.
Hands down. And you know I'm not blowing smoke. That's legit. You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got the right partner for it. So
Amazing.
I'm telling you.
Let's all make out together.
Yeah, right?
Everyone in here. No, I'm just kidding. Awesome. This is called The Three Truths. And if this was your final message to share to the world, if this was the last day for both you guys many years from now, and no one had any of your content or apps or TV shows to remember you by, and you had a piece of paper and a pen to write down your 3 biggest lessons or truths of life, what would you share with the world if this is all they get to remember you by? How do you start? 3 truths.
Practice forgiveness. Oh gosh,
How about,
this is.
do you want me to pipe in next, or are we doing 3 each?
No, I
3
guess
each
I
and 3 each,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. And I saw this as I was actually glancing over your book, just about loving deeper, and I think about my children, and so can I use that, because that is
Sure.
hands down probably one of the most powerful things that I've ever experienced is practice forgiveness, love so incredibly deeply, and live with purpose. Yeah, those are hands down.
And mine aren't going to be too far off from that.
What's yours,
Honestly.
Heidi?
One of them is love unconditionally. That is huge to me. Probably because I want it and need it more than anyone, but I know everyone needs it. And I really believe that unconditional love will and can change lives. Like, people think it's diet and exercise. I truly believe the only reason we had an impact and changed lives is because we loved them unconditionally.
Yeah.
You are worthy. Everyone is worthy of greatness. Everyone is. But I would want everyone to know that they need to believe that and then live into that. The final thing would be not to place priorities on material things, because I think the material success will come, and it will carry us through this life, but you can't take that with you. I was telling Chris just yesterday, I said, when I was saying could get rid of everything. At the end of the day, yeah, money's great, but money can't take care of you when you're sick and you're old. It can. You can hire someone to take care of you, but that person you hire, no matter how much money you pay, is never going to love you like your kids or your family will. And so making sure your priorities are on that, on the things that you can take with you, that's something I want my kids to know. I guess those are 3 things I want my kids to know, and everyone else.
That's great. That's great. Well, I want to acknowledge you both for a moment for your incredible commitment and dedication to making an impact, because you guys have gone through a lot of struggle on your own and together starting out, and still you're struggling in certain ways. But the meeting you guys, I didn't really know what to expect except for what Steve and a few others told me, that you guys were like the most genuine, loving people, and I believe that to be true. So I want to acknowledge you for living in such a big purpose to others, because there are so many people in pain, so many people struggling, and who don't know how to take the steps to get out of their pain. And you guys are committing your lives to helping transform, and more than just the physical weight for people, but emotionally and the belief in themselves. And I think when people believe in themselves, they're happier, they treat themselves better, they treat others better, and it heals the world. So I appreciate you both for the mission you're on. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, my
Thank you.
friend.
And
That means a
likewise,
lot.
by the way,
Yeah.
you are making a huge difference in a positive way. So thank you for
appreciate it.
everything.
Yeah. Final question for you guys.
Yes.
What's your definition of greatness? I'll have you start.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I feel like I'm gonna struggle with this.
One sentence.
Definition of greatness. Gosh dang. Why do I have
Do
to
you want
go
Chris to
first? You
start
go
first?
Yeah.
Chris can start.
I won't copy you.
I would actually tie in greatness with integrity, and I think my definition of greatness is living with utmost integrity. Simple as that. And it's totally relative to your own personal life, but yes, because integrity, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, and that is going to go toward work and follow through and everything. But I think, and I know that I'm totally just rambling here, but nevertheless, if you live with utmost integrity, you can always achieve your own greatness.
Okay. Having a purpose, working harder than anyone else, and being kind and respectful. Though that is hands down, those things make up greatness to me.
Heidi and Chris.
That's good.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Lewis.
This is awesome.
Thank you, my friend. We certainly
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Appreciate it.